Hey, look who I got. I really
What's
am.
happening, guys?
I've heard of both of you through the grapevines of the industry. Like, I'm seeing these names, they're echoed, because there's some people that have built a pretty solid reputation, and you two are one of them each. Yeah,
I
Oh,
hope so.
appreciate that. Appreciate that. Good to
yeah.
know that um, good things are being said about me and Robert as well. It's always nice to have good things said about everybody in the industry. That's what we're all looking for.
So maybe each of you, if you could give a little introduction, really, of kind of where you've been, what you're doing now, what you want to see, and you can take as long as you want.
Robert, why don't you hit that one first?
All right. Um, well, I've been in the industry a long time. I'm a dinosaur. I have been doing vinyl graphics for 33. Um, just started really doing full wraps and stuff uh, about a little over 7 years ago. Um, Started this company that I have now, which is 6-8 Creative, 4 years ago, and it's grown like crazy. And for the last 7-8 months, we've been absolutely slammed, doing like 2 to 3 times the volume we have for the last 2 years. So um, mostly commercial work. Well, all commercial work really. Um, I don't really try to mess with any color change. I'd prefer to just stick to business, and we do you know decent amount of wall wraps, a lot of vehicle wraps. We're trying to get more into architectural, and I do a lot of installs for other companies around the country. So
How do you how do you feel about commercial versus, I call them vanity wraps. That's what I call them. That's my name for
yeah,
them. I know that people call them color changes and they call them restyling and all that stuff, but I think it's all just vanity. Like, I just want to look awesome, which I'll totally support. But um,
yeah. It's
if
still,
you're to
if you can do
contrast
it,
those two worlds, how do you feel the difference is? How would you characterize each of those worlds as being different from each other? In what ways?
well, for me, I just I prefer commercial because I know that in the same time I can do one color change wrap, I could do two commercial vehicles and make twice as much money. And probably the owner is not going to be near as picky as the guy who brings me his 2010 Honda Civic, and he's going to be nitpicking every little corner and every detail
Right,
because it's his baby. So
right.
I I try not to, honestly. I wrapped some wheels yesterday for somebody, and I did it because it was through a friend, and but I try to stay away from that kind of work. I try not to do any chrome deletes, color changes, any of that kind of stuff.
How about you?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I find myself in both worlds. I do color changes. I do commercial fleet stuff. I do walls. Pretty much whatever my customers ask me to do, I'll do for them. I enjoy the color changes because I can just kind of immerse myself in it. I can throw my headphones on and then just disappear into this thing. Um, the the money is tough to get out of them. You have to be very careful who your customers are. Otherwise, you can end up just losing money hand over fist. I use a mechanic buddy of mine named Ben. He does an incredible job taking the cars apart, putting them back together. All of that for me. That helps me sleep better at night, for sure. But if I had my way, it would just be nothing but commercial. I would just be 100% commercial, and that would be that.
I I I
So
hear I hear that story. It almost makes me want to tell all of our non-commercial customers, "Hey, if you start acting more like a commercial customer, we might say yes to you more often. I mean,
Yeah, but there's a huge expectation that comes with the color changes, though. It's they want it to look like paint, they want it to perform like paint, and in a lot of ways, you can get it to look like paint, man. You can do amazing stuff with vinyl, and it's up to them how it's going to perform most of the time.
what do you
Unless
mean by
it's,
that? I'm sorry to interrupt, but before you go on, what do you mean by that? It's up to them how they want it to perform, how it will
well,
perform.
if they leave the car parked out, in the sun constantly, their horizontal panels are going to be shot, if they're in a hot area in maybe 2 years. If they take the car through a car wash, it's gonna, you can do so much damage like that, that sort of stuff. And so a lot of it is on them. If they get a good install, it should last, look solid for 2 years. And then but I've had them look, God,
Yeah, you
I got
don't
a
want to
buddy of mine.
promise any more than that, but you know it lasts a lot longer than that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I got a buddy of mine. I wrapped his TT, God, 7, 8 years, 9 years ago, and he keeps it garage through the winter. Falls out during the summer. It looks
Mm-hmm.
beautiful year after year after year. Yeah,
Yep.
and that was that was, gosh, that was before they had matte orange. So it may have even been longer than that. So we used uh, gloss orange and matted it out with another layer. So I have an extra layer of material on there, of laminate, and it just
You
has
mean from the
performed
kit?
beautifully.
Mean because you had a kit and then you had to put it over the top? What do you mean you have an extra?
Yeah, I ordered a roll
Uh-huh.
of 3M 1080 orange gloss,
Mhm.
and then threw matte on top of that, and rolled with that.
I've always wondered about that. I know this seems tangential. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing some introductory points because none of us have ever spoken before. So actually, what you guys are seeing right now is totally impromptu. We have no idea what's going to happen. Especially me, I have no idea. So, but I just want to keep going with that. I feel like when it comes to dealing with commercial versus that, it's similar to me. I'm a real estate broker, commercial broker, and I've done commercial construction. That was my background, and then when I was a teenager, I used to sweep out houses. So I've seen, and I'm just saying that to say I've seen the difference in the way that the business transaction works between if you're a real estate owner that's listing someone's home and helping people find something that's also emotional. That's what it is. It's
Hmm. Hmm.
non-commercial is emotional, which means you need to have some compassion.
Hmm.
You got to be really good at customer service. You got to be really good at, I mean, it's a different way to communicate in a different kind of business, but commercial is more, well, do the numbers work? And then trusting one professional to another. So there is a difference in that, and I always preferred commercial, and I still always prefer to do wraps for commercial. We kind of refuse to do them anymore for non-commercial, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of the old the fingernail joke. Jewels, not tools. One's a jewel, one's a tool. If it's a commercial wrap where you're selling your business on there, Joe's Plumbing, that's a tool. That's a sales tool all day
Yeah.
long. And in a color change, that's a jewel. That's how you look at them. And
Yeah, exactly.
so
Hey,
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, sorry. I just
The customers that have the color changes usually love their baby, and they're trusting you with that car, and you have to make sure that it's a sound gig all the way through for them.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's your ass. So you got to be very careful on that's why I was saying you got to be real careful on the color change. Customers expectations, the vehicle coming into it, going out, what's the condition of it? Is it some roach? It's never going to last, no matter how much the customer loves it. If it's just beat down and the paint's just hammered and porous and stuff like that. So um, but yeah, that's about all I got to say about that.
Dude, you look really good when you're by yourself on the screen. I was like, dude, this is a cool shot. Like, I like the colors and everything. I'm like, that's fucking sweet. I
Got
actually,
that bad guitar.
what?
So
Look
you
at,
got that badass guitar?
Oh,
he
there he
does.
is.
You know, and it was, hey Shane, how you doing,
Oh,
man?
finally.
What's up, guys?
I just, it's funny that you bring that up and you ask that question because I just got a call from a guy like 2 weeks ago, and he goes, hey, I have a guitar. I'm a graphic designer. I already have it designed. Can you print it and wrap this guitar for me? And if it wasn't in part for the fact that it was a guitar, I would have been like, fuck no, dude. I mean, I don't have time for that. If like he wasn't I would have totally told that dude no. But when I wrapped that guitar last week, he did like Star Wars on the top. It was an electric guitar. And but when he did, after I did it, I was like, oh my god! Now I remember why I love these kinds of projects, like heartfelt, artistic
Mhm.
projects.
Yeah.
Like I really did like that.
They're
And
very cool.
go
I
ahead.
did
For
a
sure.
I did a guitar about 2 months ago, I think, and the guy just let me do one of my designs. I did like this Japanese design all over the entire thing. It came out awesome. It's fun to do, but definitely you don't want to pay your bills like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't because what it's actually worth, and this if you, okay, why don't people want to do that? Because I can make more money doing that. Okay. So if how many hours would it take you to do a van? I mean, if you really take your time in some projects, I could see wrapping a guitar taking a half a day. So okay, plus
Yeah,
materials, whatever. Give me
Oh,
$750 and I'll wrap your guitar. How many people are going to pay for that? People aren't going to. It's too expensive.
oh yeah. I have a
Yeah.
guitar down here,
sure.
a Stratocaster that I did that is front and back, and then butt seamed around the edge with a double binding. And that took me like hours to do. There's no knifeless tape when I did it or anything like that. So it was all freehand cut, just
Dude,
the
what is a
Wild West.
world
Just
without knifeless tape?
oh yeah,
What did you where did you think the idea of knifeless came from? Because it seems to me
not sleeping at night.
no. I mean
Some genius.
I mean
Yeah, no,
it seems to me like when okay, so if I'm in a place where I don't have knifeless, I'm just laying down masking tape, right? Going
mm-hmm.
over the top, and then I'm gonna freehand that. That's just to give that protection. That's just one thing I
Yep,
do,
yep.
right? And
That,
then as I thought about that though, and I went through it, I thought, well, wouldn't it make sense that that's how you would come up with the idea of knifeless? Because it's kind of like if you take, cause dude, do you guys use that really thin masking tape, like only 1/4 inch?
I did before knifeless. That's exactly what I used.
Yeah,
I'd lay two layers of that down
right.
Yeah,
and
I
then
have, but I
go
don't
over it.
anymore.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I used to do.
Well, and I love it because you can take it and you can make lines in whatever you're going to do to make sure that if you got a large panel that you can't get the whole thing in perspective,
Mm-hmm.
then lay down the line, make sure that the line's there, and then go ahead and cut it. And the only goal is to stay right on the line, right?
Yeah,
And that's all that matters. You don't have to worry about being straight because you've already solved that problem, right? So that's what I use all the time, but I love it because you can curve it and you can make different kinds of lines. So anyway, that's just a tip to anybody is try to discover the beautiful things you can do with 1/4 inch wide masking tape. Didn't know that was
yeah,
coming, but yeah.
yeah. My first exotic car wrap was probably about a year before knifeless came out, and I didn't. The car took me
That's
3 days
scary.
to do. I did not sleep for 5 days. I literally was so stressed out about cutting this thing. I just sweating all day long, every day on it. And even after I got done, I'm just wide awake, midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, just like, shit, I hope I didn't cut that.
So that's what you
but
meant
I
by
knew I didn't.
that's what you meant by knifeless tape came from sleepless nights.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Somebody
Yeah.
stayed wide awake on nights, and eventually it panned out for them. And congratulations.
Yeah.
That baby's beautiful.
Now they just need to make it easier to start it. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, please, someone come up with and I've got the starter stick or whatever. I've tried that, and I'm not bad at it, and I've been taught properly. I know how to do it, but it's still frustrating sometimes to get it
Yeah.
started. I mean, no
It's a
matter
little bit
how
of a
good I get,
gamble.
huh?
It's a little bit of a gamble sometimes. Have you tried starting it before you apply it?
Oh, I've
So
not
you
tried
start
that.
it, and then just put that above where your vinyl edge is at, and then go ahead and lay as normal, and it's ready to go when you are.
Is it easier to pinch it like that when it's not attached and start it?
Oh yeah, because you can do it on the back of the car on the trunk lid if you want to, and then take it and put it in some place that's up in there tight, and
So don't lay it down until you know it's not going to be frustrating later.
Yeah, you'll have it all started, ready to go. You'll have that whole. I wish I had a roll of it here right now, but you'll have it all ready to go, and it's still on the roll. And your edge
Yeah,
is
that
all
makes
started, and you just put it a quarter inch, half inch, 1 inch above where your vinyl edge is going to be, and then just lay it as normal, and you're
yeah,
golden like a pony.
makes a lot of sense if you're in like a tight spot where it's going to be
Yeah.
hard to pull it off.
Yep.
Dude,
Without a
look,
doubt.
and Shane's just hanging out like he's on fucking vacation, but I know it's his
He's making
backyard.
steaks. You making steaks back there?
Fucking shit.
Nice.
I'm living in a goddamn like foam cave all day. It's all dark all the time because my whole studio is painted all black because I don't think another color exists. And and here's Shane, fucking
Out
palm
by the
trees,
pool.
whatever, man.
I'll be out there in November.
Use this. So Troy says, use the slit at the end of your knife, the one that's made for breaking the blades. Bend the tape back on itself an inch. So, dude,
Hmm.
it says you've muted yourself, sir. Shane, you're muted.
Yeah, Shane.
It says you've muted yourself. You know what? It's funny. It's actually kind of turning into a funny thing that's happening because he always has the here. No, it says no. Call back in.
Ooh, that's a bad word.
I could sort of hear him, but like I couldn't really
No,
tell
it
what he was
says
saying.
I think you just want him to hear him.
I don't know. I think it's actually kind of funny. Dude, can you see the rap chat, Shane?
Back away, back up. Oh, let's go.
There we go.
I can.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There
Yeah.
he is.
Jesus. I don't know what happened.
Well, this is the beauty of a live stream. It's
Technology.
unedited, baby. You don't know what's going to happen. And that even might mean mess ups by, I don't have a Jamie, okay, like Joe Rogan, whatever. I don't have
Yeah,
someone
wouldn't that be
to say,
awesome?
oh, dude. Yeah, so just email us at info@I'dWrapThatShow.com if you're interested in helping with this show in any way.
Being a young Jamie.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of things that can happen. There's a lot of positions that I'm seeing are going to need to be filled. Like, oh shit, I'm going to have to hire at least a part-time editor for shit cuz I have so much content now after this last month of I think I fell through a fucking wormhole and like all of everything changed and all of these amazing people came out and all of these amazing conversations with. So I have like 11 podcasts, I think, something like that recorded, not even including the live stream content that we've got. And I feel like it's going to take me some time. So I'm like, oh, fuck, got to get an editor. And so that's one thing. Cameramen, people, graphic designers. I mean, I don't care. I want to do a thing on the I'd Wrap That show, like a real show, not the live stream, but I want to do something where we highlight everybody's work. Like have people on, you know what I mean? Where I go, hey man, give me all your best pictures of your most favorite. You've got those jobs that there was like you were like, fuck yeah,
Mhm.
right?
For
Like
sure.
no
For
matter
sure.
what kind you're in, you're like, oh yeah, and then you get the right picture, and you're like, God, that looks good. And every time you look at it, if you're ever feeling down, you can say, yeah, but look what I made.
So
Right?
far, that are pretty fucking cool.
You have a lot of I think a lot of people do, and I feel like the whole rap community, like no matter who you are, any job that gives you that feeling, I mean, email those pictures to info at I'dWrapThatShow.com. I seriously do not have an agenda. I wish I had a post-it note with all these to-dos on it, but this sounds pretty good. I think I'm supposed to be doing that, promoting it and things, you know, saying things like the podcast is going to launch June 1st. Don't worry. I
I was
think
gonna
I'll
ask
make
that.
it.
Ooh. Teaser.
I don't know, man.
Jeff, you were in a you did the Sitka buses. You did some Sitka stuff too, right?
Yeah, I went up there and we wrapped a shuttle twice. No. We wrapped it once, but the windows twice. And
Let me get the West.
you cut out. I'm sorry.
Was it the Westmark shuttle? The one with the bear?
No. Gosh, I'll have to look up the pictures. I'll have to find the pictures. But my best memory of that is when we showed up to the site and the guy was cleaning it with gas. He was literally cleaning the side of the shuttle with gas.
You
And
work what you got up there.
that was the craziest place I've ever done an install. I mean, even when I went to Japan and they were burning tires right next to us, it wasn't as crazy as Alaska. It's just and Sitka. What a crazy place. Crazy place. The first
That
thing the
place
guy
is
said,
awesome.
If I
yeah,
would've known,
it's killer.
oh, dude, I would have fucking came up there and given you a fucking hoot of a ride. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Hutch was able to go. We went fishing. We threw some crab pots in. I mean, we went out on the boat and we had a blast, man.
Oh yeah, I was
I ate
jealous. That's
so
why I
good that
reached out
week.
to you.
Dude,
That's
we
why I
ate
reached
Yeah,
out to you.
Yeah, we ate like kings that whole week. It was like venison, abalone, crab legs. Man, it was so good.
yeah,
Oh
it was
yeah.
awesome.
Have you guys
And
ever been to
flounder.
have you guys ever been to like the New England states?
I've been to Massachusetts and Rhode Island.
What about you?
Flying
Farthest
out.
I've been up that way is Connecticut.
What were you gonna say, Shane?
Did it flying out of BWI counts or New York?
No, doesn't count at all. So,
Yeah, I've been to New York too.
Jeff, where's your shop located?
For the most part, I'm mobile. I have a bay that I work out of called the Hangar. That's part of my buddy's shop, Daniel at diecutstickers.com. He has a first class facility in Tukwila, and he spits out die cut stickers just by the complete ass load. I've never seen anything like it. The shop is completely first class, cleanest shop I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't care what the industry is. It is super well maintained. I have no fear when my customers come in there because everything is going to be on point, 100%. So anything that I need to take in house, I do there. My color changes I do at my mechanic shop, and that's another place that is absolutely spotless. If you're a friend of mine on Facebook or follow me on Instagram, you've seen the pictures with the big samurai in the back behind the cars, and you've seen the floor. It shines, absolutely spotless. Everything else, I'm mobile. I go out. I do trains at the train stations. Stations. I do buses at the bus stations. Um, I'm bouncing all over the place, fighting traffic like a madman, and just trying to kick ass and do my daily deal. Other than that,
So, you'll go everywhere, but what city and state is your home base? Where did Hutch go?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm in the Seattle Tacoma area. I live in Auburn, Washington, but most of my work, my buddy's shop is in Tukwila, Washington. So I'm between Tacoma and Seattle all the time, and then you know, just about any other points that I can drive to. Sometimes I'm down in Portland, sometimes I'm all the way up in Bellingham or Spokane. You know, in the past I used to drive everywhere. I've been, God, I've driven all over this country. It seems like it. I'm glad I'm closer to home now.
Where are you at most of the time, Hutch?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia, and but I travel kind of all over, I guess. I mean, I'm all over Virginia, Maryland, around DC a lot. But then I do go other places to do jobs. I've been out to Reno. I've been into Alaska with Shane, um, Florida, Alabama, New York, Pennsylvania. So,
So most of your
but
time isn't as installer.
well, I'm trying to get out of that role. Um, Unfortunately, I'm in like this terrible spot that where you're real busy, but you can't really find an installer. Um, and I hired a production manager for a while, and that ended up not working out. But I've just got an installer that I started out. He had zero experience, and I'm training him, and he's doing a pretty good job so far. Can't quite turn him loose on, like a full vehicle wrap or anything yet, but he's getting there. And I'm looking to replace my production manager now, and then hopefully add another installer shortly after. So I'm trying to get myself out of that installer role.
So you guys have okay, Shane, how long have you been in the industry?
I started in 2005.
Jeff?
25 years.
Hutch, how long?
And 33 years.
33 years. So, like,
Yep.
wait a minute. So when the die cutter came out, or plotter, however,
When
whatever region
yeah,
you're
the
in,
very first shop I worked at when I started working, they had the Gerber 4B cutter.
Edge.
That not even an edge. They didn't have that
Not
yet.
even an edge.
That didn't come out for several years after I was working. Probably about 7 or 8 years after I started, before the edge came out. So I started before Composer. Like, there was no vector programs. Like, there was nothing. I started in '87.
was it
or
magical
January
though?
'88.
Was it magical?
It was awesome.
Like when you could see a machine cut the vinyl out, you're like, "Oh, is that like magical?"
It was so cool because you could only run 15-inch rolls of vinyl through the Gerber, but if you wanted anything that was bigger, what's that, Shane?
I used to do the same thing in '95 with my uncle's sign shop. He had a little Gerber plotter, and if he had a 48-inch letter, he had to cut the vinyl and do a little seam to make his letters on.
Well, when I first did it, they were super against seams. Nobody would let you seam anything. So we could get bigger vinyl, but we'd have to make patterns. So we'd make a paper pattern, and then we would have to burn little hole. We had this thing called an electro pounce, which is basically like a pounce wheel, but it uses electricity.
Yeah, your pounce patterns.
You just burn little holes all through the pattern, and then you take powder, pounce that onto the vinyl. And then, so if you wanted to do like a set of race car numbers, I used to do a lot of race cars. You would pounce it onto, say, white vinyl, hand cut that, peel it up. There's no air egress, so it's wet apply that to, say, red, hand cut an outline, peel that up, wet it down, wet apply it to, say, black, and hand cut a drop shadow, and that was your number. And you had to do that for all of your. Back when Hermie Sadler was the rookie of the year in what used to be the Busch series, I hand cut every single number, every single logo. He was sponsored by Virginia's for Lovers. Every Virginia's for Lovers logo on the quarter panel, the hood was all hand cut by this hand right here and an X-Acto knife.
Oh, a much younger hand.
A much younger hand. I can still hand cut some shit though.
Oh my God, I can't even believe that.
It's
Yep.
I don't. It's funny though, 'cause you guys have been in the business for as long as you have, and I'm still, I guess, a baby. I started my signing graphics company, I think, 2013, so coming on 8 years, but really probably 7 years. And when you're talking about this stuff that you're doing, I thought, well, that's the same shit I did. And I think I realized something is that when I came into the industry, I was using really old equipment and didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So I started doing those things too. Like you're talking about, like, oh, we have to take these pieces and we have to seam them. I'm like, well, yeah, that's how I learned about registration marks. Like, okay, put those things.
Could you guys imagine Andy Huey stacking all those 15-inch panels together and making it one huge long trailer to do? You've seen the way Andy hangs trailers, haven't you?
Yeah, that's.
Oh my God!
I don't know who you're talking about.
It scares me to even try it.
Who's Andy? Tell me all about Andy.
Andy's an installer out of Oklahoma, and he's hilarious. God damn, that guy's funny. But he does the trick where, and I had never seen it before. I haven't seen it since. But he tapes all of his panels together before he introduces them to the side of the trailer and turns, what could be 10 panels or 20 panels. He turns into one panel and installs it as one piece of vinyl.
That's
And
actually,
wait a minute. Go ahead, Shane.
We do that in Vegas. We do pre-seaming. So
do you really?
Yeah. So we can, like, on a giant, let's just say a 43-foot trailer. So we've gotten to the point where we were pre-seaming panels, and basically we would do a horizontal because it was just less material. Customer didn't care. So we'd do a horizontal, do one solid tape across it, and then we would hang the panel, peel the paper, bridge it across the top, and then use a foam roller attached on a paint roller and go right in the middle of the channel and basically do that all the way down. We got to the point where we could install a 43-foot trailer in like 19 minutes and silicone around it. Yeah. Pre-seam for about 20-30 minutes, but after you do that, you can lay a panel fucking super fast. It's great.
Did you mean 53-foot trailer?
Yeah, oh yeah, I've done it on all of them.
Yeah, you said 43, and I didn't know if you meant actually 53.
No, I had a 43. I had a Clark County School District food service 43-foot refrigerator trailer, and we've done now 100 of them, but we got to the point where we got really need a faster way to do it. It was taking a while, so we pre-seamed them, threw them up, time. I'm telling you, silicone bead around the whole fucking edge, all down, Rolly Pro'd in the center, done. It was pretty fast when you do it that way.
What do you guys?
I haven't had to try it yet.
What do you guys think?
That's insane.
What do you guys think about the Rolly Pro? Because it's one of my favorite. It was frustrating at first.
I love it,
but it is a pretty amazing tool.
Yeah, I beat down so many rivets in the past with the rivet brush. When I first started, I started working for Kim McGraw, and they had just got a contract with Fred Meyer grocery stores. So we went down and we'd go every other week. They'd send a different crew every other week, and we'd go down there and back then we were only I think the panels were 32 inches wide. But it was about 1,200 rivets per side on those trailers, and we'd have to do a trailer a day, 2 guys trailer a day, and yeah, your arms would be killing you, man. Just one after another, after another, after another, after another, just nonstop. It seemed. So when I'm very skeptical when it comes to new tools, and when I was introduced to the Rolly Pro, my first thought was, what is this? What's this thing gonna do? And he says, oh, use it on the rivets, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay. And I hit it and I was like, oh man, this is the best thing I've ever seen. So I love the Rolly Pro. I love it. I love all the sponge tools because we didn't have any of those. We didn't have any of the rollers. We didn't have any wrap gloves. We didn't have air egress vinyl. On and on. I mean, no primer 94, and I know bad. Oh God, bad. But still, what I'm saying is we didn't have the luxury that all the kids have now. But the Rolly Pro was an arm saver for sure. Just you'd get done
so much faster.
You could keep going on and on. I can tell. Hutch, tell
me. Yeah.
I mean about the Rolly Pro because I can too. Like I want to kind of like. Once I discovered that you have to have an air channel, it changed everything. I was like, oh,
yeah,
because if you let the top like in between the rivets, if you close that off, you're fucked, and you're gonna think the Rolly Pro doesn't work, but it's a user error, is what I learned. Like why it didn't work. So, and the other thing is I didn't apply as much heat as I actually needed, and at the right time. It has to be the right time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't give it enough heat.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Or they give it too much, and you just have a just track buried in your vinyl, a Rolly Pro track just down the whole side of the trailer.
Hey, Hutch, if there was one tool you wouldn't want to live without, and of course you can't include your razor blade or whatever, but you were to say what's your let me ask it this way. What's the tool that when you go to grab it, it makes you smile inside because you get to use it?
Boy, that's cool. All right.
Shane, do you already know the answer to this?
Well, my answer is I don't know his answer.
All right. Well, you're going to be next. You're definitely going to be next.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear about Shane's tool.
Call the fucking
yeah, I honestly I don't know because I really, even though I have the tool, I have the Rolly Pro, I have like the V-Cat. The V-Cat's probably a really good one because when you need it, it works really, really well. But
what is that?
Yeah, honestly, I use simple.
Tool that you just mentioned. This is what he's doing now.
Yeah.
He's getting eaten by his dog.
Yeah.
But try to keep. I mean, hang in there, Hutch. It's fine.
Keep it PG over there.
Oh no.
No, I'm just kind of simple with the tools that I use. I like a squeegee and knife and air egress tool, and that's about it. For the most part, that's what I'm using 90% of the time.
Yeah,
that's one I think is an amazing tool.
Which one?
The bodyguard knife, yellow tool.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Tell me about the bodyguard knife, Shane.
The bodyguard knife is basically a Teflon foot knife, wallpaper slitter, and you can slice the zipper. And what I'll slice the zipper, which is about up the middle of a panel, and then I can pull that zipper, use the adhesive, set my mark, and then peel the paper in each direction. So the bodyguard knives are made by Yellow Tools. They have a bodyguard double, which is like a 1-inch gap, and they also have a new set where you have different attachments, so you can have 2 blades and set the width. So if you want a 1-inch or 2-inch or a 3-inch, you can set that.
I haven't seen that one.
Yes, I wanted them to make that.
It's an awesome. Just go to yellowtools.com and yellowtools.us actually.
That is.
Yellow Tools has all the toys.
All of them. It's like going to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. We have an episode coming out.
It's like when you're literally in their facility, you feel like you are at Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. It's an amazing place to be. One highly recommended place out of every place I've ever been.
I love their I love their installation bags. I love those things, the little orange install bags, and it's like chasing the dragon because I go through them pretty fast, you know, and I'm not saying that not anything bad about yellow tools. It's just I cut it up and stuff with my blade and stuff when I'm trying to get it back in the hole. You know, I'm just doing my deal.
Yeah,
But
but Ernie
that
wants to hear about your problems. He does. He
well,
wants to hear that problem so they can fix
okay,
it.
fair enough.
He does.
I'm just saying I'm just saying I'm not trying to say anything bad about them. You know, that's all I'm saying. I'm not calling them out or anything. I think it's a superb bag. I love it. And I love the portability of it. You can just put your tools in there, close it up. The Velcro holds it closed like an old CD case and stuff. I just love that thing, man.
Yeah. Shane, you brought up the bodyguard back slit. I mean, that's the one thing that pops up. Is that because it makes you really excited that you can do a back slit and the world that opens up for you?
Yeah. Hey, have you done your guys' Dynoc certification? Jeff, you have
I
your
haven't.
Dynoc
No.
touch?
Yeah, I don't. I'm planning on trying to get mine this year.
So, okay, so when you go to Dynoc, I went to Dynoc in like 2016, 15, somewhere around there. And I was interested in the wallpaper tool. It's go to walltools.com. They have these knives there. They don't have the Teflon coated knife, but they have the wallpaper splitter, and it's a little red handle, same thing, same foot. And we're introduced to that in Dynoc. And the reason why we introduced that in Dynoc is a type of product. You can't suicide it. You can't pull all the paper, throw. You've got to cut just a little bit, cut your tack, get your panel right, get it all aligned, and then pull a little bit at a time. Pull just a little bit of backing paper at a time, and then squeegee downward. And in order to do that, you have to basically not fight that back. So we were using these wall tools, and the wall tools were so cool. I mean, they would snag on regular vinyl because the vinyl is a little sticky. So that Teflon coated foot is actually superb because it helps slide across it. But we started using that bodyguard or the wall tool, and then the wall tool started releasing there. Started using there, and I tell you what, it takes huge doing installs, especially when you're doing walls. I'll cut every single panel and I'll have a zipper cut on every single panel, 5 inches down from the top. I'll have like a 3-inch piece, and you don't even use masking tape to hold the panel. Hold the zipper, tack it with that one little thing, set it where we want it to go, and then we pull a little bit of back paper at a time, and boom, slam a wall just like that. And the training, that's a part with training. I would have never learned that technique if I hadn't gone to Dynoc school.
That's funny because that's the way I do it, but I haven't been yet.
Yeah.
Shane,
it's all about Dynoc. You have to measure every panel. So if you got a wall that's a piece that you have to tuck in, you're cutting precise. You're giving yourself like an 1/8 inch, you know, and that just helps you kind of set it. Definitely.
Wow.
Is Shane's mic breaking up for you guys too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, and when you get really mad too, it doesn't let you interrupt people. So I think what's happening is the aliens probably have control of this, and I think they're trying to say, maybe don't be so loud all the time. Are we close enough yet for me to make fun of you?
Me?
Yeah. All right.
I think you should come out of the box with that sort of activity. Just start hammer at home and then see what happens.
I mean, picking on each other, picking on other rappers is a love language.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the culture. It's the same culture that I loved from construction. Like,
yep.
It's the and it's the same shit my mom and dad and aunt and uncles and grandmas and grandpas did to me all growing up. All I ever did was get picked on.
Well, and if they can't put up with it, if somebody comes in, they can't deal with it. You know they're not going to make it. You know that they're not going to be around if they can't talk, if they can't handle some shit talking, and you know, just some verbal beatdowns.
I think it's probably
my installer, we rag on him nonstop.
It's a prerequisite that what, Shane?
You can't have thin skin as a wrapper.
Oh,
No, no. It goes
No.
together with working all night and still getting up the next morning to do your job. You know, that sort of stuff. It's just you got to have some skin. You got to have some thick skin and just get after it. And you know, just prepare to talk shit back.
Hey Hutch, what do
Just
you think?
go.
What do you think takes? What do you think it takes to make it as a rapper? Like Jeff's talking about thick skin. Like, what do you think that is inside of people that makes them? Frankly, if you want to learn how to rap, you're gonna fucking suffer. Okay, like
Oh, for sure.
you're gonna fail. Like you're gonna fail in a way that feels really bad deep inside if you give a shit. Right?
Yep.
And if you don't
Yep.
know how to sit in that and dust yourself off and fucking go at it again, you're never going to get good enough. You know, I mean, you can't, it's a skill, man. It's not like fucking me teaching you how to work a cash register. It's not what we're talking about. We're
Yeah.
talking about an actual skill which takes time and failure, period. So,
Yep.
my question
Well,
is,
that's what I tell my guy. I'll tell him, I'm like, you know, we'll be in the middle of doing whatever. And I'll just say, all right, I want you to go do this panel. And he'll just look at me like, because it's something he hasn't done before. And he's just like, what? And I'm like, yeah, go do it. I'm like, that's what you're here for. And then, you know, if he fucks it up or he gets in a tight spot, he'll come and grab me and I'll show him how to work around it. But I'm like, you're going to fuck up. We're going to have to replace stuff. That's just how it works. I mean, you're never going to learn if you don't just try to do it and you don't, you know, make mistakes. So you just got to have the balls to get in there and do it. Basically, I'm trying to teach him more about how to read the vinyl than a lot of things. I'm trying to teach him how to read, like as you're squeegeeing, you need to pay attention to what's happening. If you're squeegeeing here, you need to pay attention to what's happening here if you're going that direction. And you know, you need to be able to read the wrinkles and see what's happening with it so you know which way to take it.
Yeah.
So
Drive them out and or pull it out, get it back to glass, whatever you have to do. But yeah, reading the vinyl is that's a skill in itself. It truly
exactly. I
is.
think
And
if you can't do it, you're not going to make it.
so what's one of the
no,
keys? What's one of the keys to reading wrinkles? Have you been able to put it into words maybe in your own way?
I can't. Honestly,
describing how to go ahead. I'll let you go, Robert.
I don't even know, dude. Like it's just something like as you're doing it, you got to be able to see it. I don't even know how to describe it. You just got to be able to see. Like I can point it out when it's happening. I can say, hey, you see these wrinkles here and how they're folding this way. You're gonna have to put some tension on this part down here and then squeegee this direction to get those to come out. Or I'll sit there and watch and I'll see him getting ready to make a squeegee stroke and I'll be like, and I'll catch him like halfway through the stroke just because I want him to go ahead and do it. I want him to know that before he actually finishes the stroke that I saw it was wrong, but I want him to be in the middle of it so he'll screw it up and he can see at the end, oh, that was wrong.
Right.
And then I'll say, here's how you should have done that. We'll pull it back up, hit it with a little bit of heat, and now go this direction instead of straight down, you know. But yeah, I think it's just time in it, and if you can't figure it out, you know, then you're just not gonna be able to do it.
Does anybody know who it was that coined the term triangles? Like I know Justin Pate definitely made it popular. Yes, I do.
That's the first place I heard of it.
But that's the first place.
Justin Pate, euphemism, 2000. I remember that back in 2000.
It was Justin Pate then. Right? Was there was no one before, right? That I might have missed.
Yeah.
It's the only place I've ever heard it.
He's great at coining phrases,
Dude,
getting glass and
and I still hear him in my head all the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
do you too,
he's
Jeff?
great at coming
Are you
up with
laughing
those.
because of that? Do you hear him in your head? Do you
Yeah,
hear Justin
yeah.
Pate
That and the you know, you know, he gets done with the deal and he's like, here it is, you know, and he's putting the horns up and stuff, and you know, yeah, he's pretty good at sinking that stuff in, and that's good because the trainees, you know, it's a immediate reference for them. It's a reference point. Oh, I need to get back to glass and triangles.
Yes.
It's right there on the tip of their lobe.
That might have been,
Um,
that might
Yep.
be what his real genius was in educating, is that he gave terms to things. He gave terms to pictures that were in
Yeah.
everybody's heads. Maybe, I mean, that makes sense. When I discovered triangles, I feel like it was a revelation. Like, I heard him talking about it, and then I started to just pay attention to where there's triangles, and there's triangles everywhere. Like, they're all over the
Yeah.
place. And as I remember training somebody, and I was trying to put this into words as to why triangles, and I didn't know why, but this is what I came up with. Tell me what you think, you guys. Is that if you think about what we're doing, is we're taking a two-dimensional object and we're turning it into a three-dimensional object. Well, what's one of the most amazing, how would you geometrically put a two-dimensional object into a three-dimensional object? And my mind said map of the world and then spin it into a globe. How do you get a 2D thing to form a sphere? You do it with triangles. The
mhm.
smaller the triangles get, the less pixelated that sphere would be. But at the core of all of it, it's triangles. So it really made sense that that's why we see triangles, is because we're taking a two-dimensional object and making it 3D. That was what I came up with. What do you guys think? That,
Yep.
we could just go with it.
That's
I don't
pretty
know.
accurate.
We don't.
I'll tell you another good one. Another good one. I got this one from Adam Sumner when I was out training with him, doing my 3M training. Is he was doing just a flat panel coming down the wall, and he was talking to the class about um, making a smiley face as you're coming down. So he's like,
Oh yeah, crescent.
he said, and he's
Yeah,
like, a smiley face is, he's like, if it's a smiley face, it's a happy panel, so that you're not bunching your material up. And it always just stuck with me. And I've taught it to my guy too.
Well,
that
it's true
also
because
works
it
well. Like,
screw up the panel.
What were you gonna say? It works well. What, Jeff?
oh, on the back of like gas tankers, the how they're kind of bubbled on the backside.
Right.
If you can get a crescent going on that, like just keep working that crescent.
Yep.
You can go all the way up that thing with no heat, no wrinkles, no issues, and then work it down the same way. I can do I kind of do the same thing and I don't do it all the time because it's kind of a little fun trick. But I don't know if the installation is the soundest. But those deep channels on the front of those Chevy Express vans, I can do those cold without any heat at all, and it's all by working it crescent, pushing it in there, and working the vinyl and stuff. I don't stretch it at all. It's a better idea than just running your blue roller down the channel of that thing. But if you just take it, dip it down in there, and start working that crescent and stuff, you can work that thing all the way down around, and then start in on the underside of the wheel well after that. And that I do use heat with. But yeah, if you work crescents, you can really push vinyl a long ways, long ways.
Shane, have
Yeah.
you
It works
noticed
great
that
on like
with?
back windows too. Window perf.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Have you noticed the crescent?
Oh yeah, yeah. If you have an odd shape and you're doing a crescent across it, it pushes the vinyl out this way. So you can
Yeah.
actually have like a half of a dome. That's how you would do it. You just kind of start and then work and just keep working your way, pushes it all out.
Where did you learn that? Both of you.
I
Probably from
learned it on the
failing.
back of a tanker.
Well, what were you gonna say, Shane?
Probably from failing.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to fail a couple times before you figure something out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Done, a lot of conical shaped items. Anything that's going to be pillars or things like that, where you have to put a round sticker on something that's like a
Yeah.
like a curved surface. that is a great technique because it'll actually push the graphic out and up. And then you instead of just setting it in the center and moving it this way, if you go this way, you'll actually push the graphic out, and it helps a lot.
100%.
Especially on buses, like the front end of a bus, on those curvy ones, like the ones we did in Alaska. They have that little bubble top. That fucking, those bubble tops suck.
Oh yeah, those cab over
Yeah,
tops.
they're the worst.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah,
My bane.
What'd you say, Shane?
I had to hire a small guy and get him and stand him up on the top.
Yep.
You hired a small guy? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, tiny. Good rapper, tiny.
I knew one of those.
Little dude.
I knew one of those.
I always see the moms driving by, and that back window is just loaded down with the kids' stickers, and I'm just like, that's my people. That kid right there is my people.
With the kids' stickers, because he's gonna grow up and want to put stickers on big toys too.
Yep. Let me get my hands on them. Let me train them up. Yeah. I just
like that too, right? I mean, you do a lot of, so you probably got a lot of curved surfaces. You have to implement that crescent moon technique in a lot.
You do trains?
Me?
Yeah.
Me? Oh yeah, I do trains all the time. I do the link light rails here in Seattle, and actually that thing is like so flat. I don't use a torch or anything on it, man. It is so flat. The windows are a simple like piece of rubber that sticks out a 1/4 inch, and we actually use the hook blade and that you put in like the little utility blade, and just put it on the edge and just go right around. Never cuts the rubber, never cuts the paint. I lay it all down ahead, and my guy comes behind me and cuts all the windows, cuts all the doors, picks up everything, and by the time I'm done laying, he's got everything picked up in the truck. We're ready to go. I take pictures. The whole thing takes us 8 man hours. I mean, and we've laid 44 pieces of vinyl that are 12 feet tall.
Wow. Every one of you guys have already, how long have we been going? Like, wow, shit. Let me look. Almost an hour. And I'm not brand new in the industry. Like, and I've seen a lot of videos, and I'm a member of the Rap Institute. Like, I'm and love all of that. But the stuff that you guys are sharing, it's coming from people that are doing different things with vinyl than maybe most people are, or that videos are made about. So there's all these little things that just show me that all you guys have done is, in your experience, you've solved these problems. And the cool thing about what's happening right now is that we can get that information out. I think that's amazing. Like, I would have loved to meet you guys 7 years ago when I was doing really stupid shit. Like
Yeah, well, same with us.
Yeah, they're without a doubt. I'm sure I can speak for everybody that's sitting here, though. I mean, Robert, Shane, myself, and any of these other old dogs. And there was a generation before us that were dealing with a different kind of vinyl than the stuff that we're dealing with now. But I'm proud to be a pioneer on some of this stuff, and work with all these different people across the country. When I started, there wasn't very many of us, it seemed. Kim McGraw, the guy that I started for, had the number 8 Scotch print machine in the world, and it was electrostatic and all this stuff. You'd use transfer paper and all these, like, just old techniques. And we were figuring stuff out as we went along. I mean, people weren't wrapping cars yet. Buses were very rare. We did the first buses here in Seattle. We did the first buses in Spokane. We did the first city buses in Vegas. I believe we might have done the first buses in Japan. We were all over the place. He was flying us out left and right, Atlanta, Boston, back and forth to Portland, driving there, LA, Vegas. He was shooting installers all over the world. It was craziness. but we were figuring it out, and coming up with techniques and meeting other installers all over the world and sharing. And yeah, I'm really proud of the industry that I've been able to be a part of. I'm super proud to be here. Super proud.
Did you know? I mean, and I can say this to all you guys because you've been around long enough. Did you guys know? And don't let me forget to get a response from each one of you before I fucking take my ADD off on the edge and try to change the subject, okay? I actually want to hear from all of you on this question. But when that was happening, you talked about being a pioneer. Did you know at that time that you were a pioneer? Did you ever have, even just in the back of your head, like, no, this is going to be huge one day, and when I'm older I will be one of the first, and everybody thinks I'm crazy but I'm going to go do it anyway? I mean, were those thoughts real for any of you?
I originally took it as a job because I had no like formal training. I didn't even graduate high school. I've always been a hard worker, though I'm not the smartest guy, but I'll work hard. But even then, yeah, absolutely. I just saw nothing but growth. But when it really got going, like when color changes came out and anybody could start wrapping, you didn't need a printer. That was a game changer. Then it just like poof, just blew up. And but the advertising side, the commercial side is always going to be there. That's always growing. It's just going to get bigger, more. It's just the kind of the gluttonous, animal there. But yeah, it's going. And I didn't know if I would still be in it. Was the only question. I wanted to be, though. It was just I had a lot of self-destructive natures back then. So if I didn't burn too many bridges in the first couple of years while I was drinking, I would be okay.
Well, we might need to do a private podcast, just me and you, and we'll just unpack all your story. I think that would sound fun. So, but you still didn't answer the real question, though, about being a did you maybe
yeah, I
did you
I
feel
totally
that you
felt
were a
like a
pioneer?
pioneer. Yeah, each day more, each project that I did that was bigger and cooler and more far reaching, absolutely I felt like a pioneer.
Fucking
We
love
were
it.
we were putting stuff on stickers on stuff that nobody had ever put stickers on before, just because nobody ever introduced a sticker to that substrate. So the only place, yeah, absolute total pioneers.
I
And
love it.
and but like I said, there was a generation before us that were pioneers as well. And that's the cool part. It was just different. They were doing more trailers and stuff like that. And like Robert was saying, he was using a damn Ponce pattern to cut letter numbers for race cars and stuff. That's a different gig right there, man. That's grassroots vinyl cutting.
That was the beginning.
That's yeah. And so I'm later than that. I'm just a different pioneer, and all my pioneers on installation side. I can't run a cutter. I can't run a plotter at all. Everything I do is installation.
So I have a question. Okay, see, I was gonna do it, but did you see me make a note? I made a note because I have a point from what you're gonna say, but I don't want to get distracted. I'm doing my best to try to get to be a better human being. So if we move on to Shane, did you feel like you were a pioneer in any way?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of was in a weird, unique situation. I was into cars, low ride stuff at the time, and I'd work the summers at my uncle's site, so I had vinyl, and I auto paint when I was younger. So when I saw a friend of mine who did a car show and he put stickers on his car and clear coated over them and won best fucking paint, I was like, oh, this is it. That was back in '98. So when that, I was like, wow, this is something that can happen. And I knew that it was a new thing because at that time everybody was painting cars and everybody was doing airbrush, all that kind of stuff. I knew it was the cars were a way to get in to do other things. So I knew that this was going to take off and be more than cars, which in effect it turned into be a lot. I mean, we're wrapping everything nowadays. I mean, hell, I know people that have done their kitchens and done barbecue areas, done outdoor patios.
Oh yeah.
everything. So I mean, it's kind of funny. Like, and then with us being in Las Vegas, we are in probably the largest per capita of vehicle wraps at that time, and the market here was so fresh and so prosperous that everybody started to kind of jump on board. We had all the taxi cabs, we had, all the shows, all the things that were going on the strip, and Vegas kind of became like this epicenter of wraps. And we were at the forefront back then, and we were doing crazy stuff. And when we started doing like the world's largest margarita on the strip, and all these casinos, doing all these interior stuff, doing things for MGM Grand and doing things for NASCAR. It was just, we knew we were at the forefront. That there was a huge growth opportunity, not just in the vehicles, but in other avenues as well.
Hold on, I'm getting there. I know I missed my cue. There we go. It's funny. I will say though, now that we'll take just a little station break for a moment to put out a little message. One thing I neglected to say before we went live was I would always recommend everybody being on mute if you're not talking. That's just the thing. It'll help with sound, and I think it might help with Shane's sound that cuts in and out too.
Oh, maybe.
It might. But you know what it is about you, Shane, though? I mean, I still can't. Nope. Okay. Hutch, did you feel like you were a pioneer?
Yeah,
You did?
I really didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't. No, I mean, when I started, I was 19. Um, I fell into this business completely by accident. I moved from Pennsylvania to Virginia with a buddy of mine. He was going to work for a race car shop, and the guy who owned the race car shop was best friends with the guy who owned a sign shop. And when he found out I could draw and things like that, he was like, "Hey, you might be a good fit with my buddy." So I met him and showed him my artwork and stuff. And basically, because of that, because I could draw, he was like, figured I'd be good with my hands and I could hand cut vinyl. And so that's kind of how I ended up with that job. I was just looking for a job because I moved from one state to another, was just trying to find somewhere. And I really liked it because I could be more artistic. I wasn't sitting in an office somewhere, and it wasn't a factory. So I just got to where I really liked it, and then it got to where they were doing T-shirts, and I could do the artwork for T-shirts. We used to use a film, probably nobody here knows it, called Ruby Lith, and it was like a, a red film that, or actually before that, we used those green film, like an emulsion through. It would adhere to the back of the screen, and then they would use that to screen print. So we used to do T-shirts. Well, then we got more and more equipment, and got to where I could actually draw T-shirts. Like, so race cars, I could draw them and then do color separations, and so I got to do a lot more cool shit. So I just kind of got into it that way. And we're doing race cars, and I was like, this is fun. It's fun, artistic, and it wasn't a normal job. And so I just I kind of just happened into it. And I think that probably what we do now is more pioneering than what we did back then, because back then it was just another way of doing signs. But I think that the wraps, because you can literally wrap anything. I mean, it's kind of crazy what you're able to do now. I mean, guys are
I'd wrap
wrapping
that.
entire buildings. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm doing some this job I've been doing for about 6-7 months. I'm wrapping these giant coolers that go outside of a grocery store. I can't really say what they are or who they're for, because I'm installing them for another wrap company, but it's for a chain of grocery stores. And they're these giant walk-in coolers, and they have three sections. Like, one's a dry goods section, one's a cooler section, one's a freezer section. And so it's one of these, you get online and buy your groceries, and then you just pick them up, you just pull up, and they put the stuff in your car. But we've wrapped, like, God, probably 140 of those things. And, you know, who would have ever thought that you'd be wrapping giant coolers? You know, there's so many crazy things out there that you can wrap now.
So we just, I just had some of our team videotape and get some content for our commercial, and what I did was I tried to wrap our front lawn. So and then I learned when the stuff you couldn't wrap, what you can't wrap, I don't think you can wrap things that are organic. Like I tried to wrap a plant, that didn't work out either. And you can't wrap dirt, you can't wrap grass. You could wrap a fucking tree though, couldn't you?
You go all the way around it.
You could totally
Heat
wrap a
that
tree.
bitch
Somebody
down.
needs to wrap a tree.
Yeah, use 480 and a lot of heat and roller.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Just don't do it in August.
That's funny. Hey Shane, you're frozen.
Of course. Can you hear me?
I know. It's so, you know what? I think you're here. I'll put you on Albert. So see, how do you look? See? You
It looks great.
You look gangster, actually, a little bit.
Look at that.
At least he's not making a stupid face or anything.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not. But I think the other thing is
His mouth is closed.
he could be making a funnier face. That's true. Maybe you want to call back in, man.
Again.
Again.
I know. I think it's Vegas. Vegas doesn't have good internet.
I think Shane should just be like the call-in guy now. He just keep calling in whenever he wants to talk,
I
or
mean,
you know, it's just
that's the thing. Like,
you guys have a lifeline I can call?
You do what?
You have a lifeline? Can I use that?
No, we don't have a lifeline. But I do think, I mean, Jeff makes a good point, though, is that I think that if we make this a pattern, if we ever get rid of it because we fixed the problem, people might miss it. Like, well, I kind of liked it when Shane lost. And like, I mean, this is all video. You're still looking the same way, man.
Yeah, this looks good. It looks like I just off, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna step aside.
Yeah. So here was my point. I'm glad I was patient because I don't really I mean, my first question was, you know, hey, do you guys feel the same way? But I kind of don't care. Even if I'm the only one, I'm still going to stand by it. The designers of RVs need to stop using fucking swooshes. Okay?
100%. I've said this 100 times.
Fucking stop it.
They're
like,
so bad.
Please. And I'm not saying that swooshes in and of themselves are fine, but please try to be more creative. There's way more options out there for you. Please stop using swooshes.
Or stop designing stuff that's supposed to have a perfectly straight line horizontally around said vehicle. You know what I mean? Through all the fenders, bumpers, yada yada yada. Just have it come out perfectly straight.
So don't have to match line. And this is what me and my designer talk about all the time, and we've come to learn. Don't have to line up specific points when you go from plane to plane.
Yes.
When you go from one plane to another, do not have to line them. And you can be creative. It's just a little creativity to design it just a little different. Don't even offer the option to the customer, and then they can't pick it. So, you know, give them 3 designs that will work for us too, please.
Yes. Yes. Don't even pull that book out. Don't even show them. Don't even give them the option, and then they don't know. And everybody sleeps better at night.
Right. So, no specific points, or please try to reduce the specific points because you can line them up. You can.
Well, and just being ahead of the game though, designing for that. You know what I've done in the past, and I don't know, some people might laugh at me for this, but I've actually like installed like the bumper with just pre-mask. Drew the whole thing out where it was going to land and everything, took it off, laid it flat on the floor, got up on a damn ladder and took a picture of it. And then they put it in the computer, and that's how they designed it. They designed it. We went from 3-dimensional to 1-dimensional, printed it, and then back to 3-dimensional again. And it worked out awesome. The points lined up perfect. Perfect.
So what you're saying, and this is what I used to do when I was trying to figure out vinyl, and this is before I knew about air egress. Hey, Hutch and Shane, you guys should call back in because you're still frozen. So I learned
I'm okay
this.
with that.
I'm telling you, just hang up, call back in. It'll be like you never left. So here's what I used to do, and this was before I knew about air egress, and then even before I figured out what it actually was because I was wrong about it for a long time. But anyway, the point is, when I would wrap things that had a lot of curves and everything, what I would do is I would take pre-mask and then I would draw out what the design was and how big, and I would create my own little cut templates by going from 2D to 3D, and then I would pull it off and stick it on there. And then another thing that I did was when I would, so I had this customer once where he owned an RV repair shop, and when these RVs would get in accidents, they needed their swooshes redone.
Oh,
because
yeah.
they stopped making them. So,
Yep.
like, I think after 3 years or something, they quit making them. So we would have to go in, and so what I would do is I would basically just do like this template, and then on a black wall, I would cut out the actual swoosh or whatever it was, and I would stick it to the wall so it would become a 2D thing, flat, and then I'd take a photo of it, do an Illustrator trace of it, and then get the cut path off
Yep.
of it, and then I could
I've
go
done
in
that.
there after the fact and replace those RV graphics the exact same way as they used to be. And I think there's a huge fucking business for that. I think if you did that, you could probably get a lot of work.
Yeah, every time somebody says, "Hey, I need my RV stripes redone," I run for the hills, man. I'm just out of there. I don't even know where to start with them, where to source that color vinyl. It's always some super thin, super sparkly, like bass boat looking graphic stuff, and it's just like I don't even know what's going on here. I can't help you.
Hey Shane, I think I can see you moving.
Yeah.
You just need to talk quiet.
Can't hear you again.
It says
one or the other.
It says guest has muted themselves.
He needs a NASCAR board that he can ride on and hold up real quick.
I didn't do it. It says you muted yourself. Just saying. This is your responsibility. You know, you're a big boy. You can own up to it. Really, it says guests has muted themselves. Let me see if I can unmute you. Hold on. Nope. And then I'll unmute you. Nope. Guests has muted themselves. Nope. Says guests is.
Yeah.
Hey Shane, you should call back. All right. Well, Shane is number 1 while he's gone.
And before he gets back on, we should all just freeze and just sit there and look at him. Don't move a muscle.
Wait.
See how long it takes him to.
But dude, I have a thing in my thing. Oh, hold on a minute. Why don't you just talk amongst yourselves? Here, hold on. Watch this. Let's see. What if I did this? There. Talk amongst yourselves, and I'm going to put up a timer. Oh, he's already back.
I don't know. Apparently, every time someone fucking calls my phone or texts my phone,
Oh, you need to put your phone on Do Not Disturb.
It's on Do Not Disturb.
Well, then I guess they're disturbing you anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I get like a message coming through, and then it turns everything off.
Are you the kind of guy that when your computer breaks, you don't know that you just need to at least try restarting it first?
I'm very technical.
I know. I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you. So I have to say, I think that you guys have been an absolute joy to have on, and it's been a whole lot of fun. I'm totally open to keeping going. I just don't know what else to say next.
Dude, yeah, thanks for coming on, guys. I appreciate you guys having taken.
Oh, absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I'll do it anytime you want, Just
And
Yeah, it was awesome.
way, bro. You know what I'm
what's
talking
that?
about.
What?
Thanks for the seat.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It's probably good. It's probably good he just cut out.
It's all legal. It's all legal.
Talking about.
Yeah, but then you have to have it. Then you have to have a discussion about it.
Completely different podcast.
That's a different podcast.
A totally different podcast.
Join me on the Xeno Show where I highlight the people that live their lives out on the fringes. People that mail seeds to one another.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey Hutch, you got anything else to say? Dude, that was awesome. That was fucking birds. Like that was like crickets. That was fucking awesome. Dude, that was awesome. That was like.
Wait, are you coming? I see him moving
What's that?
slowly. Hutch.
You what?
Dude, I'm gonna take this screenshot.
Yeah, for the whole thing froze on me.
Well,
there he is. There he is.
Can you stick your tongue out for a second again? Because that would have been an awesome big shot if I would have gotten it on the show. And that. Are you guys going to RapsCon?
I was just gonna ask that. I'm definitely going.
Yes.
RapsCon? Yeah.
I actually think that this episode went smooth enough that I might be able to get the editing done so that it gets released before RapsCon. Because that's what I'm trying to do. There's I got a whole lot. I have so much content, and I'm I actually talked to an editor today, and I'm I think I might have to hire you, for real, at least part-time, because I don't think I can edit all this shit that I've gathered. But I think that this went well enough that it might be easy enough to distribute before RapsCon, and wouldn't that be cool? But I'm going to be down there too, and I'm bringing my camera, and I'm going to bring a bunch of microphones, and I'm just going to highlight the shit out of everybody in the industry. That's the goal. So
I can't wait.
Shane, are you having a booth there?
Yeah, so we have Just Print Science is going to have a booth, and on Thursday from 11 to noon, and from 1 to 2 at the Muto booth, do a demo on some video wraps. So yeah, come down and check. It's going to be an awesome thing to see everybody. 2 years since RapsCon, and that's just way too fucking long.
I know. Yeah, I was thinking, I'd say 1.5 years since any industry, anything.
Yeah.
Last time we saw each other,
Yeah.
During the pandemic, thank you. But last time we saw anybody was SEMA.
Yeah. That was my last event that I went to.
Yeah. You were here too. Over to the house.
Yeah. No, we got stuck in a garage. We spent 2 hours trying to get out of the garage.
Don't remember?
Yeah. Oh no, I definitely remember, because we were stuck in the garage so long. We actually reparked the car, walked into the casino, bought snacks, came back out to the car, got back in line, and didn't lose a place. I remember that.
Well, we have. I really think that it's a bright future. I think that there's some really cool shit going on within our industry. I think that we're maturing as a whole to a level where, as we connect with each other and do these kinds of things where we're sharing information and we're giving opportunities to everybody within the industry, because we can't find enough installers. Learn how to install, please. Jesus.
Stickers. Put them on stuff.
Stickers. It's cool. And you can make money. Go learn how to wrap. I mean, we need more installers. So anyway, but I'm excited about the future. I think it's awesome. And thank you. Realistically, Shane, I mean, I didn't know Hutch and Jeff before you said, "Hey, let's have them on the show," and I was like, "Okay, cool." So I really appreciate you and you hustling all the time and getting good guests and helping introduce me to the family.
Yeah, this is this is kind of a community. It's a rap family. We say it all the time, but when we started doing this and you started talking about how you wanted to get in the industry, that I have is I can, like I can connect people, and so that's what it's all about. It's connecting those important people together and getting everybody on the same page, and learning to have fun and rely on each other.
Yeah, and
Zeno, you need to head out to SEMA so you can hit up Shane's house. That's
yeah,
where the
I think
party
we're all
is.
going to hit up
that's
Shane's
what he
house
keeps
next
telling me.
SEMA.
I'm not sure I want to do that though. It kind of makes me nervous.
Officially, the SEMA party is on.
It's a great time.
We're having a party.
I mean, I'm kind of wondering that if I come to your party that I won't wake up naked on a couch in the next morning.
I heard that
That
Shane
has
has an
happened, I
RV
think.
company. I heard Shane has an RV company, and he'll have RVs there for all of us to stay in.
I slept in one at the last SEMA at 2019.
Well, I just think, and the problem, I wouldn't have a problem with that except for there's the fact that everybody's got a camera in their pocket, like that. I mean, if everybody didn't have a camera in their pocket, then maybe we could have a good time, but there's cameras everywhere. So anyway, thanks for coming.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that's happened there. I haven't seen any pictures, so.
Well, and everybody seems to keep everything under wraps, so that's good. I just said
Heyo, heyo.
That's funny.
I
I know that was pretty awesome. Actually, that was a full blunder of some kind. Anyway, thanks for coming on, guys. This has been awesome. Thanks, and maybe we'll see you again, but definitely we'll see you in RapsCon.